Welcome back, Division 2 agents. It's your boy Trade 381 coming at you with another Division 2 build video or just a video. This is So You Wanna Make a Build Part 2. Like I said, we're starting out with the Umbra Initiative. Now, normally, I don't know why. I think somehow or another I'm missing three of my pistols. I had the Liberty, the Regulus, and the Busy Little Bee, where those three X's are. I don't know what happened to them. Maybe the devs can answer that to me, but for some odd reason, they're just gone. Like I have some in my inventory, in my stash, but I had three of them in my inventory, and they just vanished. I don't know what happened. It says that I guess I maxed out my inventory, and somehow or another, maybe they got over and those three got sacrificed. But losing three exotics is huge. And I'm not, I can re get them again. I can go in the countdown and get those guns, but at the same time, it's like those particular ones I maxed out and optimized. So wherever they went to, they got lost to the matrix. So screw it. Now, when I last left off, I was talking about uh, knowing the different types of gear set for your playstyle. And so now it was the brand sets, knowing which brand sets, knowing which chest piece and backpack to run. As you can see, to optimize it, like I said, I had the strikers on, and I said the best way to optimize it is you see my chest pieces at 158K, and it has a blue core, and so does my backpack. Those are the ones that you want to have a blue core on. That's the best in slot thing to have because it has the highest base armor damage. So you want to have a blue core on that because that 170 plus armor goes to that base armor. So if you have a red piece in there with a blue with the 158K armor, you only have 158K. This one here says I have 158K on top of 170K. That's massive. You don't want 170K on top of 80K. You want to max out your blues on the highest blue. And everybody argue 170 is still 170 no matter what it's on. But still, the way it works out is, yeah, the math will say that it's huge. I mean, it's no difference because you're still 170K regardless of where it is. But the quality of the blue makes a difference. So having the blue on the high base one is a plus. You see, I'm at 1.6, and I'm running two reds. I'm trying to see if I got one where it's the opposite. Um, nope, those are blue and blue. It says 1.7, but it's one more blue. 1.6. It's 1.8. It's still look. Invest, like I said, in the blue on your chest piece in your backpack. It's just because it makes more sense to have blue on top of a high, armor set. But so now that you figured out your playstyle, I'm gonna give you exactly what my playstyle is. And like I said, I'm a mid range slash running gun type of guy, especially in PvP. I don't like to sit still, but I'm never happy with the build, so I'm always retesting builds over and over and over and over and over again because I don't get satisfied with the norm. I don't like the term meta. I don't like meta builds. I like making my own and seeing if I can compete with the metas, which is why I do conflict because it's the quickest way to go in, test the build out. The dark zone is a place to go in and just gank people. So to each his own. But your whole point is to get into the PvP, right? So knowing how it works. When I ended out the last video, I told you knowing how it works is huge. Like this here is Umbra Initiative.
Reinforcements incoming.
Out of the shadows and into the light, right? Works by taking cover and that little bar fills up at the very bottom. You see that thing right on my hood? I pop out of cover, you see the other one pops up. That is my RPM, you know, rounds per minute procking. Now I'm taking damage on purpose along tenacity hit. So I go back into cover,
Hostile
and then
assembly
my
recall
into the
confirmed.
shadow pops up, and you see I'm getting heals. You have to when you're doing gear sets,
Hostile completed. The golden bullet.
you have to know
Golden bullet
what
received.
the talent on that gun is and the best way to make it applicable, right? As you can see, my RPM goes up. I'm sitting here getting the high crit damage with the Seska, I mean, with the Umbra Initiative, and I pop back into cover because I know the time limit is, I think it's like, I can't remember the time limit because right now I'm in the middle of combat, but forget it, just read it. Now, optimizing this the way this gear set works is, or any gear set, well, I keep saying this one, any gear set is, if you put one together, what you need to know is what is the benefit of having a brand set in that slot versus the the gear set's chest piece and backpack. So, oh Lord, where did they come from? Wasn't watching. I moved ahead. That was on me. I hate that they can do that.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
What? Okay, game. They wanted me dead. That's what happened on that one. Are they gonna pop back up over here? I think they are. No.
Heavily
Oh,
armored
of course not.
hostile
Why not?
detected.
So the way Umbra Initiative works out is you take cover and you build these stacks up for your RPM and your crit damage. Once the stacks and it's full, because you're getting heals as well while you're in cover. And when you pop out of cover, that's when the talent kicks in and you have this increase in crit damage and RPMs. So after this is over with, I'll show you exactly why it makes a difference in the backpack and the chest piece on each gear set. So for this gear set, its talent surrounds around healing, crit chance, and crit damage, right? That's if you're a mid-range running gunning type of person. So you want to make your build based on the amount of crit chance and crit damage that you can get with this gear set. I got the Coyote's mask on, and I got the Fenris. That's because my critical hit chance is at 47%. But as you see, I'm out of cover. I'm at 230% crit damage. Once I get back into cover, I'm at 168. The way this gear set works is from the shadows into the light while in cover gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give 1% crit damage increase and a 0.3%, which is 30% RPM. That's rounds per minute. Buff does not apply while shooting from cover. While out of cover, 2 stacks per second at normal speed and 1 stack per second if sprinting. While out of cover and in combat, gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give you zero point 0.8 or 80% armor regen when it is consumed. Stacks consume 10 stacks per second only in cover. So while I'm in cover, I'm getting 80% armor regen. But technically, I guess I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It's the stacks is 50, so that's 40%. You're getting half of that on the normal. Running the backpack, the stacks go from 50 to 100, therefore 40% to 80%. With the chest piece, increase max stacks from 50 to 100 and gain 10 to 20, from 10 to 20 stacks. Sorry, my nose is stopped up. Hold on just a second. All right, so what does all that mean? Simple. And I don't think I have one. Maybe I do. Okay, I do. Let's see. I'm gonna go for a I'm gonna swap out what I had. The we'll go with obliterate and let's go with the memento. So now with this, my RPMs without the chest piece and the backpack, my RPM goes from I'm tripping. Sorry. My RPMs, the stacks is 50, right? And I go point 0.3. So that's my RPMs go from 30% with the chest piece to only 15% because the stacks is now up to 50. So and you have to take that 50 uh, on the 30% when you're done, or just multiply the 50 times point 0.3. That'll give you 15% RPMs. Same thing with the heels. You take that 50 and multiply by point 0.8, and you end up with 40% armor regen, which is fine. You can because you get the buff. But to me, if I'm gonna get 15%, I'm gonna put on strikers because
Supply room access unlocked.
unfortunately, the mementos with the strikers feels like Umbra Initiative. You still got 15% RPMs, and if you get max, you know, trophies, you end up with a 30% heal.
Golden bullet being assembled by
Or you can
hostile.
run it with companion, and you get the DPS. But for me, honestly, getting a
Golden
40%
bullet
heal
complete.
over an 80% heal is a no-brainer. Like I'd rather have the 80% heals and the 30% RPMs, along with, don't forget, crit damage. The crit damage is cut in half with the without the chest piece as well. So I'd rather have max crit damage and heals and RPMs over having cut in half. Now that's just with the Umbra initiative. So when you're making your build, you have got to, no matter how you look at it. I thought they said it was a convoy over here. I guess not. You have to understand when you're looking at your build, what are the pros and cons of running this gear set with the backpack or without. Umbra, in my opinion, should be run with the chest piece and the backpack. It is a must to run Umbra with the chest piece and the backpack because the crit damage is phenomenal with the backpack over the chest piece. The heals are phenomenal with the backpack. That is how you should run. And I run mine with the Eagle Bearer because the Eagle Bearer with that rate of fire is ridiculous. And with Umbra, it can mitigate some of the damage you get when Tenacity is procced and you haven't gotten that third kill. Now, another one is I thought I had one, but I guess I don't. Another one that you want to look at is where the chest piece and the backpack make a huge difference. Why do I not have a crit damage on that one? Whoa, what was that? It's 10.5. Thought I had a 20% repair skill. No, what'd you do that for? Another one that you want to look at is Negotiated Dilemma. I have been preaching Negotiated Dilemma since I first started recording videos because I felt like people were missing out. Negotiated Dilemma is the greatest uh, gear set they could have created or adjusted since they did what they did. Let's go with 4 versus 3. 4 versus 5. This was probably the greatest one that they put together when they readjusted. Because it used to have when you lose your armor, it'll shoot a grenade out, and in PvE it was so exploitable. Uh, Looks like I want to run that one with the Seska versus Fenris. Yeah. So this one, the way it works out is you get to mark these NPCs, right, or players. And when you get the mark, it gets what I call distributive damage. So critical hit marks enemies for 20 seconds, right, up to three. Any enemy that you hit that is marked, when you critically hit the marked enemy. Wait, somebody walking up on me? Yeah. You still got that mark. They share the damage.
Received. Golden bullet.
So when you mark when you mark the enemy, uh, when you start critically hitting another enemy that you didn't mark initially, all other marked enemies take 60% of the damage that's dealt. Whenever a marked enemy dies, gain 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times. If you look at the bottom of my HUD, that little mark, it'll get a meteor at the bottom, and that's my critical hit damage now. It's like having Umbra, but on kill. So whenever a marked enemy dies, gain 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times. People, that's 40% crit damage that you are getting just off if you fill the meter up, right? So you get that. You get the crit damage built up in the middle of combat. You have a potential of having an additional 40% crit damage. Plus, you were doing 60% damage. That's just with the four pieces. The backpack, on the other hand, it increases hostile negotiations damage to an additional marked enemies from 60% to 100%. Now, hostile negotiations is right here, right? You get the Mark III enemies. Whenever you get them, 60% damage. The 60 goes to 100%. So anybody you mark goes from sharing 60% damage to 100% damage. That is the one where I feel like the backpack, whatever when you run a negotiated dilemma, it doesn't matter. Vigilance, companion, none of that compares to being able to share 100% of the damage on any other NPC or player. That's where I feel like the backpack, I mean, the chest piece, it goes from marking 3 to 5. I can do without the 5. I really can. You give me, if I mark two enemies and I focus on another one, 5, it takes a little bit much. And that's just me. I feel like the 5 isn't really worth it. So I feel like with Obliterate, I get an additional 25%. Or you can run Spotter. You know, either way it go, having the weapon damage over having the ability to mark more. Over time, yeah, you're trying to tell me having 5 sharing 100% damage is one thing. You're right, it is. But I could go with something like Unbreakable or Tardigrade and give me more survivability. And in the end, if you ever done PvP, the beauty about this is if you mark a player that is throwing out skills and they throw their hive out in front of you and you already marked them, if you shoot that hive, he is sharing the exact same damage that you're putting on that hive, and you can kill him just by shooting his hive. See that? The red bar was gone just based off of that. Marked them and I moved on.
Hostile
This
assembling
is
a
the
golden
the gear
bullet.
set that I said is probably the most overpowered gear set in the game. And now that they're doing this update, they're increasing that
Hostile
60% to
completed the golden bullet.
120%. It is going to be that gear set, that meta gear set that everybody's going to be focusing on. And remember, I have been saying, preaching from the very beginning that this is the gear set. I don't care. It's stronger than Strikers, it's stronger than Umbras, because it has its own damage category.
Nearby location guarded by
It doesn't have
hostiles.
multiplicative. It doesn't have additive. It has distributive damage, where you can distribute the damage across NPCs. He's shooting underneath the car. Get out of here. And if you're running the Eagle Bearer, tenacity is less likely to proc on you based solely on that because you ended up with 3 kills because the damage is distributed. So the Eagle Bear is also that gun to run with this. I hate that they can hide their entire body and shoot and still be accurate as crap. You can't even shoot their gun sometimes.
Hostiles guarding location nearby.
And remember, you see my meter down there is building up towards my 40% crit damage. So I'm also stacking crit damage. And the beauty about the beauty about Negotiated Dilemma is that its gear talents are crit chance and crit damage. So you see the first bar just died
Golden bullet.
based off of sharing that damage.
Heavily armored hostile
I ain't gotta worry about the gold bar on my right because he was marked. I don't have to worry about that red bar in a second. The moment somebody sticks their head up, he's gone. So if you like this gear set, you can run it with the Catharsis where you can get the heals. Or you can run it with the Coyote's mask where you can get the crit chance and the crit damage. And Coyote is decent because it's a versatile mask where your crit chance and crit damage is based on where the NPCs are. And it gives this crit chance and crit damage to your teammates as well. I prefer the Catharsis because it gives you DPS and heals once you get that whole vicious cycle proc. But let's see, you see my crit chance is at 57% once the meter is
detected.
filled.
Nearby location guarded by hostiles.
My crit damage goes from 180, let's go to 188 to 228, 220. I said 188. I'm at 185, and it goes up to once I get the max 40% to 225. So if you're running Negotiated Dilemma, I highly suggest running the backpack over anything else. If you just want to do the 60%, that is completely fine for survivability. But if you're looking for damage, and the best optimized damage, run the backpack is a must.
Reinforcements en route.
I hate these spam calls.
Detecting additional
So
hostile
look, I will
contacts.
mark him. He's marked. Oh, I hate the range on that. Sometimes the range on this Eagle Bear can be a nightmare. I lost the mark because I hit somebody else.
Hostile has full golden bullet.
See, I got them marked. They're gone. I need to mark him. Where you at, Mr. Rusher? No, you're there. There you are. But you see, I didn't have to worry about the guy on the right. The guy on the right is gone because I got he got marked.
Hostiles
Where are you
guarding
coming
location
from?
nearby.
Right here. But this is the DPS crowd control, hands down. So this is a prime example of when to choose a gear set, chest piece and backpack over running, not running the chest piece and backpack. You have to, when you're making your builds, figure out which one is better to have it and not have it. There is two, maybe three that I feel like are
Supply room access unlocked.
hit or miss in that aspect. One of them is being strikers. Striker is a really good gear set. Period. It is an all-around DPS. It'll out DPS most builds. Um, but in my opinion, I've tested out the chest piece in the backpack. Strikers is decent with the backpack, especially with the catharsis. Uh, but honestly, if I was to run it consistently, I like this setup a lot more. Hands down, having the Memento backpack with the Seska chest piece with Obliterate, you can build your stacks up a lot faster with the chest piece, without the chest piece. Uh, for strikers, if you have the chest piece, you have to get it up to 100 stacks. With this one, you only got to get it up to 50, and when that 50 is there, it doesn't dissipate as fast. And plus, the Memento gives you heals, so you got survivability. Another gear set that I feel like is one that is a must to have with the chest piece and the backpack, and that is the Hunter's Fury. Not Hunter's Fury, Heartbreakers. Oh my God, I'm all confused.
Detected.
Heartbreakers
Nearby
is
location guarded by
that one
hostiles.
that you have. I feel like the heals on the chest piece and backpack, or the heals, the bonus armor that you get for the chest piece and backpack is so much better with the chest piece and the backpack versus without. And I will show you here. I don't think, yeah, I do. Uh, let's show you with the. Let's go with Fenris. No. There we go. So here is, I got my link laser pointer from my technician class. That gives me the ability to pulse an enemy, and that's how, oh no, am I having the wrong one? I do have the wrong one. It is what it is. So watch the bonus armor that I get from this. Like that is the cap on my bonus armor with the chest piece, without the chest piece and backpack, just the 4-piece gear set. You know, somebody else came out of the sewers, I hear it. This is my PvP. Just so y'all know.
Hostile assembling a golden bullet.
This is my PvP and PvE build. Where is that tank? There's the car. So here we go. The
Hostile
dog. I'm gonna
completed
say car.
golden bullet.
See my bonus armor? That is my cap with the chest piece. Without the chest piece and backpack. You son of a biscuit. Really? Which is still bonus armor, yeah, and that bonus armor is there. It's there for good. Well, for good until it dissipates. Because the way Heartbreakers work. Ooh, no, I didn't put a. Okay, all right, guy. So you get the Talon Heartstopper, headshot apply, pulse for 5 seconds. Weapon hits on pulse enemies adds a stack of 1% bonus armor and 1% weapon damage to pulse enemies up to a max of 50 stacks, right? 2 stacks are lost each second. So with that, I'm getting 1% bonus armor and 1% weapon damage to pulse enemies for each stack. Therefore, 50% weapon damage, 50% bonus armor, period. Max stacks, 50. If I take that exact same thing, even if I put on the, I said catharsis, coyote's mask, right? And take and swap those out for the backpack and chest piece. And I'm gonna go with, what did I put on? Seska? Yeah, let's go with, well, the coyote's mask. Let's go with the red Fenris. Heartstopper changes because it increases the total bonus armor gain per stack of Heartstoppers from 1% to 2%, right? The entire bonus armor per stack, right? 2% times 50, which is the max stack, right? Is 100. That's 100% bonus armor. chest piece with the Heartstopper goes from increase the max stacks from Heartstoppers to from 50 to 100, right? Now, max stack is at 100 at from 1% to 2%, right? That goes from 1% to 2%. The backpack gives you the 100% weapon damage to 100% bonus armor. This one goes from 50 to 100 on the stacks. So now I'm looking at 1% bonus armor and 1% weapon damage to from 50 for it's 50% weapon damage, 50% bonus armor to 100% weapon damage and 100% bonus armor. That's based off of that max BPM. Now this gear set always confused me because in that wording, that should give me 200% weapon damage and 200% bonus armor, but it doesn't because it goes from increased total bonus armor gained per stack, right, from 1% to 2%. So the way it works out is this code only works on the bonus armor. It doesn't affect the weapon damage. But what it does give you, though, on the other hand, is the bonus armor gain from 1% to 2%. Therefore, your max stack is 2 times 50, right? But coupled with the chest piece, it goes from 50 to 100. So now you were looking at multiplying that, which is, the 50 to 100. Now you got 100%, but you're doing that times 2. So now you got 200% bonus armor.
I spend every day waiting to die.
The max stacks, though, on the other hand, weapon damage, and like I said, it always confused me, and I got it wrong the first time I presented the Heartbreakers. But now I understand it's 200% bonus armor and only 100% weapon damage. But then again, like I said, they're updating it so the
Hostile control point
I
identified.
think the Heartbreakers is going from 100% to 1.3, so that's an additional 30% weapon damage. Are you kidding me? This build was already OP. I ain't gonna say OP. This build was already nasty. Now you're adding a 30% weapon damage buff to it. She's need everybody who was doubting the Heartbreakers and the Negotiators before are all gonna be on the bandwagon. It's a build that I've been pushing from the very beginning, and look how nasty it's about to be. These folks are about to pass out, faint, complain, cry, gripe about how OP it is, and yet I'm just digressing. I'm sorry. So here we go. This is the bonus armor. Do y'all see the difference between having it with the very first gear set, without the chest piece and backpack, versus having the chest piece and backpack now? Plus, if you're running it with all those blues, the weapon damage is still there. It may not be as high as you're running it with all reds, but trust me when I tell you, I can hit the millions with this gear set. You want to say, oh, I can hit 2 millions with it by running it with reds? Yeah, you can, but guess what? I can face tank. And this is just with the lightweight M4, the police M4. If I ran this with the with the Kingbreaker, I'm hitting 1.5 million.
Fuck you and your friends.
What you say, homie? I can hit 1.5 million with the Kingbreaker with these blue cores. Now, caveat is once those stacks are built up, you can't build up your bonus armor anymore. How do you change that? Somebody said you do a cover to cover move and it will dissipate. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. But quickly go into your inventory, swap in and swap out, and boom, you're back to Heartbreakers again. Now in PvP, you can't do that anymore. You can't change the gear sets. At least in Conflict. I don't know about the Dark Zone, but you can't do that anymore. But Heartbreakers, like I said, with the chest piece and backpack, that is one of those that the chest piece and backpack, just like the Umbra, is the absolute must. Don't let anybody tell you run it with the what is it, the Tardigrade and the Memento backpack. That's no. The Memento backpack bonus armor does not work with Heartbreaker. You can't multiply that with it. It does not. It is its own individual set. It's its own individual bonus armor. Heartbreakers, their bonus armor and the weapon damage tied to it is to that meter at the bottom of your HUD. That is the only weapon damage that Heartbreaker is adding onto. It is not working in conjunction with the Memento backpack. Keep that in mind when y'all do this stuff. So that's the Heartbreaker gear set. The next one is, what is it? I think I have another one. Oh yeah, one that I feel like is better served without the chest piece and backpack, and that is True Patriot. And I tested this out. True Patriot is better served without the chest piece and backpack. Oh, headshot damage, not one crit chance. Do I have another crit chance mod? I do. There we go. So, this was the OG build that everybody rocked way back in the day. I mean, way, way back in the day. Just saying. No. So, this has the talent red, white, and blue. Every 2 seconds, enemies receive a stack debuff and of red, white, and blue. Red amplifies the enemy's damage taken by 8%. White, shooting the enemy repairs the attacking agent's armor by 2% once every second. Now that used to be supremely OP. I'm not gonna lie to you. Way back in the day, it wasn't 2%. It was just like it just had a number, and the armor regen was insane. It's like you could put clutch on with that, and I swear you would never die. Blue decreases the enemy's damage dealt by 8%. Therefore, if they have the blue mark on them, the damage that they dealt is debuffed by 8%. Full flag, enemies that die while under the effect, all 3 debuffs create a 5-meter explosion damage, dealing damage equal to their total health and armor. This was that build. Now the backpack and chest piece talent, I don't think I have it on here because it's probably it increases the way that cycles. And honestly, in my opinion, you can get all 4 marks on every NPC, and so the cycles really didn't make a difference in my opinion. So this is one of those that having the chest piece and backpack didn't make a difference. What I like the most about this, you go trying to sneak up behind me, you jerk. What? Is I got used to the high magazine size with True Patriot. I really did. So I learned that having a high RPM gun. Where's that bullet? Are you kidding me? Having an high RPM gun with this one is probably the best. So that's when I fell in love with the actual CTAR. Okay, I hear him blasting. Where is he?
I'll destroy it.
So guns like the CTAR and the FAMAS and the F2000, the rail splitter and the shield splinterer, These are the guns you want to have with True Patriot.
Damn, we're gonna get rolled. It's payback time.
Plus, you can be a little bit tanky with this one.
This is not good.
As you can see, he got that red mark flag on him. I can hit him with the shotgun,
Now, damn it.
and he'll get all three. Where you going, homie? And you see he blew up. Kablooey. So, having the chest piece and backpack on this one, this is one of the ones that I said that
Supply room
it is
access
not
unlocked.
more beneficial to have the chest piece and backpack. It really is not. The True Patriot is amazing all on its own, and that's just with its talents. Now, here is,
Glad you're
again, when you're building your build, know
cool.
which gear set you are picking also has a benefit on its talents. Uh, don't just look at the four-piece bonus talent. Also look at these particular individual talents. True Patriot initially was the best one out there because it gave you a ammo capacity and a magazine size. Everybody that came from Division One got in here and was like, "Oh my God, my ammo capacity, oh my magazine size is crap. My ammo capacity is it was terrible." And they came out with True Patriot, and that gave us this boost. My FAMAS got 79. For my F2000 or Shield Splinter has 79 rounds. I can go from that to, let's say, if I put this RPK on along with Eagle Bearer, and the Eagle Bearer has 79 rounds. Having that additional ammo capacity allows you to miss shots, and if you're, dealing with a bunch of people, and sometimes the difference between 60 and 79 makes a huge difference between life and death because you're not sitting there reloading, trying to wait until you reload to get your shots back off again. Uh, but yeah, this is how it works out. But like I said, that's 2 and 3 piece set. Just like the Heartbreaker, it gives you the two pieces, the assault rifle damage and LMG damage. The third piece gives you weapon handling. You know, I get my crit chance with that with the Umbra Initiative, or let's just look at Negotiators. Negotiators, the two piece gives you 15% crit chance, and the third piece gives you 20% crit damage. On top of the fourth piece, giving you to be able to mark along with the 40%, the up to 40% critical hit damage on the what is that called again? The hostile negotiators at the very end. Umbra Initiative gives you crit chance and reload speed. Strikers gives you weapon handling and my favorite, the 15% rate of fire. System corruption gives you the 15% armor on kill. The pulse and disrupt resistance with the hack step is beautiful in PvP. Uh, and this one gives you bonus armor. It replaces your your armor kit with an infinite heal thing, but it's a 20-second cooldown, I believe. Chest piece decreased that cooldown from 20 seconds to 15%, which 5 seconds is a huge difference, but I still feel like the backpack is better just for the bonus armor. I think I got that build already put together. Let's check and see. That's my PvP. But when you're doing these, seriously, the biggest thing that you need to know is what backpack talent does what chest piece talent does what, and is it more beneficial to have that chest piece and that backpack over having a brand set chest piece over the gear set chest piece or the gear set backpack over the brand set backpack. Again, it is completely 100% up to you if you prefer having one over the other. honestly, knowing that you, the more you get into it, the more you can tell the difference, the more you want to realize that certain ones are more deserving of a chess piece on the gear set versus others. I suggest you go out there and experiment with it. That's just me. That's what I do. But if you want to go off of what other YouTubers have tested and developed and feel that their information is more credible, go right ahead. I'm not gonna knock you. If you want to do it listening to I forget that guy's name. I think it's like Dodd something. He comes out with this amazing spreadsheet and he gives you the difference between the guns and the chess pieces versus the sustain and he does a phenomenal job on presenting the information. That is completely fine. Go with his information if you choose. If you want to listen to Kamikaze Von Doom and go over whatever he puts out there, that's on you. That's who you're watching. Please, by all means, go up and give it a try. Make up your own mind. Don't let the YouTubers dictate or influence what build you use. The whole point behind this video is me telling you newcomers or the ones who are a little bit questionable on what build goes with what and how to put it together. The truth is, it's all on how much you understand what they're asking for you when it comes down to how many pieces of this particular gear set or brand set that you have on and knowing the difference between is the DPS consistent enough on 3 or 4 red cores on top of your playstyle. Knowing the difference between multiplicative and additive damage, that's a tier that you are not prepared for just yet because you haven't made your build yet. Why are you looking at multiplicative and additive damage when you haven't even maximized your gear set for crit chance, crit damage yet, or headshot damage? If you don't understand that yet, knowing the difference between additive and multiplicative is a tier that you're not up to just yet. Learn the differences in the gear sets first and the guns and add on your skill. What skills work better for you after that? Like mine is, a hive in case I go down or another player goes down. Because if you can see, my hive has 3 charges. That's because I have 2 skill tiers. No skill tiers gives you one. One skill tier gives you two. 2 skill tiers gives you three. So if a player goes down, I can use my hive to pick them up and then go back and pick it and go pick up my hive and still have 2 charges left. Or I can put on this TDI card, the custom, and I can switch to that. And I went from having 3 to having 4. I like to do that when I'm doing legendaries. If I see players going down,
Hostiles.
I
Warning
quickly switch to
location
my
nearby.
gun and I'll have charges and I have 1 extra charge in case I need it. And then I pick it back up and I swap back over and I instantly just have one. If I picked up 2 players or 3 players, run back over there and pick it up, I still have my 1 charge. It's not gone. I still have my life left. But first start out with, and then this was the tier that I said, start from top to bottom. One, know what specialization you want to play with. I didn't cover that, but that's because that's on you. You have to pick it from the very beginning. Know what specialization you're gonna do. Then work on which gun works best for you. Right? Figure out which gun, whether you're an AR or an SMG or an LMG or a shotgun or a sniper rifle or a marksman rifle or a regular rifle. Uh, Knowing which talent is best for you. Like people use finisher in PvP. I like Optimus over any of it. After you figure out which guns you want to put between your primary, secondary, and tertiary weapon, then you move on to your gear sets. Absolutely, hands down, gear set, brand set, figure out which one you want to go with. Me personally, I love negotiators. My tier of favorite to not favorite, starting with ranking number one, negotiators, hands down, is my number one favorite gear set. Second is Umbra Initiative. Umbra Initiative is a phenomenal gear set. Like if you haven't played it, it's bar none. When they came out with it, it was that gear set. Third is Heartbreakers because the bonus armor is completely there. Heartbreakers is completely an underrated, underestimated build. It wasn't in the very beginning. It was being abused in the beginning, but they toned it down. But still, it is that gear set. Number four is System Corruption. Yeah, you heard right. System Corruption is like it replaced Strikers for me because I can put on bonus armor without having to have the link laser pointer on. I know it sounds. You have to play the gear set to understand it, and it's pretty fun. Fifth is Strikers. Hands down, Strikers is that go-to build for me when all else fails. If I just don't want to like put in the effort to pop in and out of cover, or if I'm doing a legendary and I don't want to, if I want to be tanky with a little bit DPS, uh, Strikers is my go-to. It always has been, but favorite wise, it is Negotiators. After that, it's a cross between that and PvP. Uh, I run Hazard Protection. Hazard Protection is a must when you're doing conflict. Period. I know it sounds stupid, because I'm missing out on DPS or tank or whatever it is. But look, in PvP, Hazard Protection is hands down. It's a must-have. Plus, it's pulse resistant, so like they can't pulse me. And that's a bonus when you're running across a Heartbreaker because they'll be getting their stacks off of you. So 100% hazard protection across the board is what you want to have. But that is my go-to in PvP. That's why it's marked number one. And as you see, number two, that used to be my PvP ninja, but then it got replaced with because it used to be a shotgun build I put together. I really don't like shotguns, but in PvP, but Negotiator is my number two in PvP. It's my number one in PvE. But hopefully,
Detected.
hopefully this helped a lot of y'all out.
By hostiles.
After I upload these two, I'm going to start out with so you want to run a legendary. Cover this at the end of the part one. But so you want to run a legendary. Let's see. Okay. There is a trick to running legendaries, and I wish a lot of the pro or veteran players that I ran with had told me this in the very beginning, but I learned it on my own. I thought they were fixing that. Oh, no, I didn't swap. Get it together, Trey. So, there's a trick to legendaries. I'll cover that in the next video. The next video, I will actually do District Union. I think this week's legendary is going to your projects. Why don't they ever tell you? This week legendary was Manning National Zoo,
Hostiles. Guarding
which
location nearby.
let's scale it from top to bottom, from easiest to hardest. So, the very first legendary is District Union. That is the easiest. It is 100% the easiest legendary out there. Number two, and it's consistent with the rotation. Number two is the Capitol building. That is the second easiest. Roosevelt is next. It's a moderately hard legendary. It's in between the easy to the hard. Number four, Tidal Basin. Tidal Basin is long and hard. It is not the longest, the second longest legendary, and it is not worth doing if you're going for an exotic. It is not worth doing at all. That one and Manning National Zoo. Manning National Zoo is the hardest legendary out there right now. And it is the biggest waste of time. It is super long and it is super hard. Say that to let y'all know right now. If you're doing it for the exotic, it isn't worth it. Go do your weekly project and get you do your daily project for the exotic component. Do your weekly for the three exotic components and skip Manning and Tidal Basin.
Detected.
They are
Enemy
super
location
hard, super
guarded
long,
by
and a super
hostiles.
waste of time. Unless you're trying to get the completion just to say you completed it. But I say this because I'm going to tell you how to make them super, super easy. Yes, super, super easy. Tidal Basin and Manning National Zoo. But I'm going to do it by showing you how to do it in District Union and Capitol Building. And then I'm going to finish off, each week. I think I actually did these. But as you can see in my character, I completed the weekly legendary. But there's a trick to it, and I'll get to y'all in the next one. This is your boy, Trade381, saying good luck, agents, and I hope this video was very informative. Y'all take it easy.